It is time for us to have Dharma discussion and share our experience. For Patriot Zen, we always ask the question and raise the doubt. Our practice is simple. Ask the question, for example, before my parents were born, what did my original face look like? Repeatedly. So that is the vital question or the object of investigate for us. The issue that we normally have is we're not familiar with the practice. We tend to get carried away by external condition. Or in other words, our mind is always looking outward, seeking things outward, and discriminate between subject and object. So our practice right now is strange to us, and it's not continuously, and that's why, and also because we don't have complete belief in the mind. So we practice every day in order to maintain the practice. We share our experience every day in order for us to become familiar with the practice and find a way to always keep the practice at all time. And to maintain the practice here doesn't mean that we do it based on the object of seeking, gaining, fearing. Our practice, we have to find a way for it to be normal, but have to be uninterrupted. Meaning we don't have to push too hard, but still always have the question in the mind. Keep asking, for example, where did I come from when I was born, and where will I go after I die? We shouldn't just recite the question all the time. We need to ask the question all the time, because when we ask the question, it generates a feeling of wanting to seek the answer, and if we cannot get the answer, the doubt will be raised. And we want to maintain that feeling of doubt by continuing to ask the question sincerely. The thing that normally create an obstacle for us is because we tend to believe in the consciousness, subject and object. For example, if we discriminate the practice, it also creates challenges. Or if we attach to the practice, it also creates challenge as well. Only when we do not attach, do not discriminate, then we are at the stage of non-abiding, no discriminating, and that's how we are able to raise the prajna contemplation. Right now, we might not be able to digest all of the teachings of the Buddha in the pages because our practice is not strong enough, but at least these words can help encourage us to practice more. Master Lava said, keep asking. Sometimes we ask, but it seems that we're reciting, but we still have to ask. Whether there is the doubt or not, we still need to continue to ask. Whether we feel we improve or not, we have to continue to ask the question. And because thanks to the practice and also learning from the wise teachers, we will gradually understand the intention of the Buddha, the patriots, and the wise teachers. So always everything is still come back to ask the question, raise the doubt, nothing else. The more we listen to the Dharma talk, the more we practice, the more we become diligent, the more we will believe in the mind. Even though the question seem meaningless, seem unreasonable, but for a Zen practitioners, we believe in the true mind. We believe that this is the medicine to help cure the sickness of the mind. And when it comes to medicine, it doesn't matter whether if it's expensive or not, as long as it can help cure our sickness, that would be a great medicine. Same thing. The Dharma methods are not good or bad, are not, strong or weak. As long as the Dharma method can help us treat the sickness of the mind, that is the great method. The Zen practice help us to not generate a lot of illusions or do not generate unreal feelings and help us to not discriminate within duality, within the vicious cycle. It helps us to awaken from the dream, awaken from duality. Then when we are able to awake, then nothing can control us, whether it's joy or sadness. So we need to practice uninterruptedly, practice all the way. So, and then seeking, learning from others to help us fix any mistake that we have. As long as we overcome the challenges and the mistake and continue to practice, that would be great. So right now, anybody has any questions? Feel free to bring up your question, or if you want to share your experience, or if you have any concerns in your activities with family, with friends, or if you see any concerns with the practice, you can share with us to receive feedback from everyone to help us transform those challenges. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Has a question. Dear Thầy, dear everyone. Since you asked if I have any concerns in my mind, I want to ask this concern that I have for a long time. There is a practitioner that have been practicing for a long time, since the time of the late Master Whaley. That person shared with me about the eating vegan or not. That person eating vegan, but she still cook meat for her family. And she said, even though we don't eat, but when we cook the food, we still have to taste the food, seasoning and taste the food. But when we taste the food to season, we spit it out. And also, when we cook, we also should uh, wish for that animal to be reborn to uh, a good realm and not become an animal again. So when I hear that, I thought to myself, we, even us, do not be able to escape from this realm. How we wish for anybody else. So I raised such a thought at the time, but then after that, I forget about that thought. But um, how do you think about the thought that I have? Thank you, Thầy. This thing is going against with the practice. If we say we kill animal, eat animal in order to transform their karma or to help them reborn in a good realm that is not right. Just like if you think somebody do that to us, kill us in order for us to be reborn in a good realm, that is not the right way to do. If such a person said like this, she is against Zen, against karma. Um, Whatever the seed is, the fruit will follow. If a Zen practitioner practice under the influence of the attachment or ignorance, then that person will fall, will go into the wrong path. Um, our master Wei said very clearly to practice Zen to the point where we don't discriminate, don't master anything, even for the matter of food. We won't discriminate between whether this food is good or bad, etc. As long as the food is enough to nourish the body, that is good to go. Our lay master said, if you want other people to eat you, then you can eat other animal. If we practice but we still follow our attachment, then that practice is not the right way. Like we, um, even when we practice, we still have to put down the Dharma, not attach to the Dharma, let alone the non-Dharma. So our practice, eventually we have to move away from duality. If we practice but we still be concerned between vegan or not, should or shouldn't, then we still are stuck within duality. Um, Only when we reach the stage where there is no self, there is no subject and object, then that is we are going on the right path. E- Even when they poison our food, but if our mind is pure, completely pure, then we will not get um, poisoned. Um, just like we were just think, this is just karma because in the past maybe I poisoned someone, so now I get poisoned, and we are not attached to anything, and therefore we won't be influenced by even the poisoned food. So during the Buddha's time, you know, he at least let other people eat the stuff where they still not having to kill anymore. But that is just, um, because he want to teach people to not discriminate between this food or that food, and instead just welcome anything that people give away. And when we are not stuck within duality, then we um we when we will not get stuck into karma either. So for a patriot Zen, we have to have great concern, cannot just listen to whatever they and believe into that. Some people say, "Oh, I'll just buy meat that already um, frozen meat. I didn't kill any animal. They already killed the animal. I just buy the meat." But that is considered indirect killing. So if we still attach, between vegan or not, why can't we eat vegan? Why do we have to eat? And if we even make excuse that we eat meat in order to liberate that animal or help that animal reborn into a good realm, that is just an excuse. So if we have the strong practice, we will be able to discern those arguments, keep ask the question and raise the doubt. Um, I understand thầy. Thank you. Nam Mô Sakyamuni Buddha. Dear all practitioners, recently I listened to your talk about where the practice uh, when you said on our path to Hòa Thâu, in reality we still be able to see, um, to know, but even if we have the knowing see, if we still keep the practice, it's just like we going from the temple back to our house and we um met an accident, we have to at least slowing down. We cannot just think that, oh, I'll just maintain the practice and drive normally, drive fast normally and bump into the accident. Then it is not right either. So I think we, even though we maintain the practice, but we do it normally, and when we face external conditions, we still go in accordance with the conditions, but act normally. Could you please talk more? The explanations of the Buddha and the Patriarch is just skillful means. The most important thing is your practice. If we just follow the outside appearance, the forms, then we are just um, generate further knowledge, further explanation. Like Master, like what I said, when we first practice and we stay in a place where we are exposed to lots of people, exposed to the market, exposed to uh, school where they are full, a, a big crowd. But if we practice, then that will help our mind move away from the crowds. For example, if we move away from the market, we are just moving away from a crowding place to a less crowding place, but still there are still people around, there are still vehicles around, there's still we can still hear the arguments, we are still hear the singing there, we can still hear um all the noise, but we still keep walking. We still need to continue to walking. So it's the same thing. Like we just need to keep practicing. Then gradually, um, um, our discrimination will be less, and we practice until from when the discrimination is a lot to when it's lessen until when we only have one mind, one conduct. Just like a person moving away from a big city to a less crowding place and then to a rural area, and then he continued to move away to the forest where there's no more houses, there's no more people, but instead he just see, he no longer see the lights, no longer see houses, people, but only see the tree, the nature. That is just an example. That example is just to refer to the practice. When we practice, it will help us gradually lessen and lessen our discrimination. If we try to fight off uh, the surrounding things, we're never gonna be able to fight off everything. That is still within duality. If we still if we embrace the embracement in order to practice, then we will never be able to get transcend that attachment. Just like just like if we keep embrace the limit of duality and discrimination, doesn't matter how much we practice, we just run around um, that limitations. Only when we practice to the point where we don't get attached to whether the environment um, is quiet or noisy, then we are able to transcend duality. And thanks to the skillfulness of the Buddha and the teacher, the more we can believe in the true mind, then doesn't matter what happened around us, doesn't matter how um, serious other conditions are, our mind will stay still, will not get turbulent. So when we talk about going from our home to the temple, when we talk about going from a crowded place to a vacant area, those are just skillful means. So those our practice will help us naturally overcome the challenges. We do not have to force or generate a fight to fight off the conditions that we don't want. So our practice here, we just need to continue the practice, and the practice means we have to believe in the true mind and end all of the discrimination, discrimination between good or bad, right or wrong, rich or poor, or subject and object. Then gradually the doubt, you have to understand that the doubt will help us sweep away all of those things, not our consciousness. If we use the consciousness to try to sweep away all of those things, that is not the right way, because the consciousness is attachment and wisdom is transcending attachment. So wisdom is the prajna and the other side is consciousness. So for us, always um, ask the question, raise the doubt, keep asking, and doesn't matter what the issues are. We need to not attach to anything. Just keep remember the Hoa question in order for us to overcome those issues. If you cannot overcome those issues, you can reach out and ask the wise teachers. If you still keep the thought of knowing, that thought of knowing consider the door to disaster. Do you understand? Yes, I do. Thank you, Thầy. Nam mô Muni Buddha Thầy, and practitioners, could you clarify about the path of the consciousness, um, of knowing versus not knowing? These terms confuse me. Could you please explain further? Thank you, Thầy. The Buddha usually told us to discern between the right wisdom, the right knowing versus the wrong knowing or the sick knowing. The Buddha has, our patriarch has an example to illustrate, like we, outside of the main head, we generate, that is, we grow another head or multiple other heads, as a way to say that from our knowledge, we generate a lot of notions. From our discrimination, we generate a lot of knowledge. Because of our attachment, we generate a lot of discrimination and knowledge. Then we start to discriminate between good and bad. And from there, we grow a lot of that is also said as we establish a knowing on top of the ultimate knowing. So the rational wisdom, the rational knowing is the knowing of non-discrimination, and that ultimate knowing is already in each of us, already there, but we, because of the illusory knowing, attaching knowing, ignorant knowing, it covers our original or our ultimate knowing. And that's why they said we need to remove all of these wrong knowing in order for us to manifest our true know or ultimate knowing. So our practice, our right knowing is already there, always exists, but we don't believe. We don't believe in the knowing of the Buddha. We keep believing in the knowing of common people, the knowing of attachment and ignorance. And sometimes we mistake those knowing as the knowing of the Buddha or the right knowing. Sometimes we don't believe in the rational knowing, but we just believe in the consciousness knowing. So our practice, the doubt is the seed to help remove all of those duality, subject and object. People tend to follow habit, anything that they feel familiar to them, they feel easy, anything new and strange, they tend to feel it's difficult. Um, like people keep falling into discriminate between good and bad. For example, they mistake the body is themselves. And from there, they from attached to their body, he generate a lot of different feelings, sad, happy, etc., and have to go through a lot of suffering. We also call it as the attachment to the five skandhas. So the Buddha taught us in order to transcend the attachment to the five skandhas, we have to use the prajna knowing. And the doubt will help us get there. People tend to feel fearful that, when they practice, then they fall into the stage of not knowing and become like an insentient being, like a rock, etc. But that is not right. When we practice, we will be able to manifest the prajna knowing, and we will be able to see everything clearly, see their nature clearly. For example, right now you can see that we tend to follow our own feeling, right? We tend to prefer our family member, protect our family member over other people. We tend to get fooled by our benefits, gains, money. So for when we practice, we have to end the attachment, subject and object. And when we are able to manifest the prajna knowing, it's just like a bright mirror that can reflect everything as it is, and we will not mistake anything anymore. And at that stage, we will be clear about birth and death and able to stay in control of the birth and death. So when we're able to resolve the issue of birth and death, we able to resolve everything else. We need to strengthen belief in the mind, and in order to do that, we have to continue to practice and also learn the teachings of the Buddha, the patriarch, from the wise teachers. We have to learn the right teaching in order for us to gradually overcome our attachment. We have to put that into effort into the practice, because without the practice, you will not be able to manifest the right knowing. Can I ask another question? When I practice, I'm not sure if I have the doubt or not, but I still continue to ask the question. But when, for example, when I am on the airplane and when the airplane starts shaking, I start asking the question faster. Is it that I'm trying to suppress my fear? Thank you, thầy. This is just a reaction of your attachment. Like you were in fear, so your general reaction is to find a way to react to that fear. So, but for example, when people fall into face their fear, they will start acting out normal. But in this case, you at least think about the Hoa Thou question and hold on to the question. That is a good thing, you know. Um, and while other people, they might just act out of normal in order to suppress their fear. So, but in your case, when you feel fearful, your breath may become faster, but you still ask the question. Uh, it's just because your body start acting faster. That's why you ask the question more faster, but it's okay. It's just because you feel a little bit too sudden. That's why you experience that. If we have a strong practice, that practice will help even limit all of the sickness from physical sickness and mental sickness. Um, right now, our common habit is still a lot. Even when we see the self nature, the common habits may still be there, and we still need to continue to practice to eventually end all of the habits, you know. But those are just illusion and dreams. So that an illusion and dream are not real. So don't be scared. The time is up. Goodbye, everyone. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha.